beautiful people. Welcome to the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Penina Wachera. I hope you guys have woken up well and are really excited to face this day. As usual, now, it's very important to start your day with affirmations because if you do that, your day will really haitakuwa na problems mingi, sindio? So remember, you can always tell us your affirmations through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. Anyway, as it is usual here at the Younib Breakfast Show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. Today we're speaking about self-care, and most of you najua mnasikianga self-care, mnajua saizi ni makeup 1-2-1-2, like you only take care of yourselves through doing morning routines and everything. But today I am joined by a psychologist. Already mnajua jina yake, so karibu sana Bi.
Thank you.
Yes, her name is Beula Njagi. She's one of our counselors, and as I say here, this show is proudly brought to you by Younib Organization and Miss Your Ashen, where we are trying to reach to our community to speak about mental health. As you can see, nowadays tunakuwa na shida mingi about mental health. Kwanza after COVID, this thing became more known. It was there, but it became more known after COVID. And through this initiative, we are able to reach everyone in the community and ensure that you guys get good help when it comes to mental health. So remember, if you have any issue, you can always call 0700-352-250, and our psychologist will always answer and help you out with your problems. So today we're starting about self-care, right?
Yes.
And vile nimeanza, most of us tunajuanga self-care ni most of the time ni easy morning routines, like having the skincare routines and everything. But can you define to us what self-care is all about? Because at the end of the day, tutakuwa tunajidanganya maybe, ama it's right just doing the skincare is all about self-care.
Yeah.
Or maybe self-care is more. So let us know, please.
Okay. Self-care is more. Yeah, I will use your words. So what we hear about, there's hair routines, there's skincare routines, there's morning, there's nighttime. All those things are part of self-care routines. So when we talk about self-care, it's one of those terms that are very hard to define. Iko kwa jina yenyewe. So it's how you take care of yourself. And, with all the conversations that we've had here, we've broken down how we are as in life can be separated into various different aspects, yeah? So we have, Penina, the physical body, we have the mental or emotional health, we have the social health, we have the spiritual health, we have the financial health, all these things that constitute to someone being a whole human being. So when we talk about self-care, what we want to make sure is that tunashughulikia all these aspects of life. So what we've talked about in terms of the skincare routines, it's part of self-care because it's taking care of the physical body, but let it not just end there. Ama isikwe, the kizuizi that now that I don't have money for sunscreen, no self-care for me ever. Yeah, so it's more than that. All these things that we hear about very commonly are just a part of it, but they're not the definition of it or the entire thing.
Okay, so now we already know what self-care is all about. It's not only about taking care of your physical self, but also your emotions and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
So in this discussion that many people say about self-care and resilience, so I want us to go now. What is the connection between self-care and resilience when coming to facing life's challenges?
Okay, so resilience refers to the ability to bounce back after challenges or the ability to withstand the challenges that come. For example, it could be that you and I are going through the exact same challenge in life. Tuseme, break up, boyfriend amepiga amesema it's not happening. Yeah. So there could be Pesh who, gets up, does her normal morning affirmations, is able to go to work, is able to do the things. Yes, she feels the pain. Yes, she cries about it or journals about it, but you're able to do whatever you need to do and still bounce back to other areas of life. And there could be now person B who has gone through the exact same thing, but they're unable to pick up. So you'd find they spend days on end in bed, they're not eating, they're not able to function in whatever space that they function in. So some of those differences are a result of a lot of things, but resilience is one of those things that would help you to bounce back. And so where these things relate is that when we create a culture of you constantly checking in inside with yourself, making sure that you're caring for yourself in all aspects, it creates an environment with yourself where you're able to overcome whatever comes, because you're not letting yourself haujajiachilia uende, and then when calamity happens is when you're like, niko wapi hata niko aje hata, when was the last time I was okay? But you're constantly taking care of yourself, so it means that you'll be better placed to handle that which comes. It's the same way when we look at young children. Children who are born in a stable environment, when things are stable around them, they are able to develop resilience because they're used to that system of hata vitu zikiharibika, I know they'll be okay because there are these systems in place. Yeah, so self-care is you actually creating those systems in place so that you're able to be stable, whatever comes, whatever may come. Yeah.
So now we've gotten to understand what resilience is, because self-care tushaambiwa, so it's just us understanding more about resilience, And now I want us to go to the fact that we know that different individuals, what Pesh is, it's not what B is,
Yeah.
And all of us tunakwanga too different in our unique ways. In school tulikuwa tunaambiwa we all have different fingerprints, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So how does self-care differ from one person to another, and mostly how does it even relate to mental health?
So what you said is very important. There are no two people that are the same.
Yeah.
Even our needs, even in that example that I gave, our needs in that space are different. Yeah. There's, someone who would need, family and friends to come and rally around them, and there's someone who just need their own time to process their things. So it's important to join that with self-awareness, like ujijue, just because what Pesh does works for Pesh is not a guarantee that it will work for me, because we're different. We need different things. We have different temperaments and personalities. So, and when we're talking about self-care, with that definition that I gave for taking care of yourself in all aspects, it means it's not a blanket answer. Yeah, because there are things that, the same way tuko na different allergies of food, someone can eat peanut butter, mwingine will literally die.
Yeah.
It's not that peanut butter is a bad thing, but for this person, it is. Yeah, so it's the same thing. You have to find what works for you, because no two people are alike. Yeah.
Okay. Now that one we have understood, and I like the fact that we've said it's different to everyone. So let's talk about now the different types of self-care practices. How can somebody now be able to get to know, and this is, I can try this, but unajua lazima tukue na a whole list of the things that I can try this, nione kama imekataa ama ikatai. So let's go to the different types of self-care. That people can maybe do.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start, this may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but we'll start by those ones that are general for everyone. And they're general because they refer to the physical body. So in as much as no two people are the same, I feel like that's why we have flexibility on what you do in regards to emotions and your mental health. But and we've talked about many times the connection between the body and the soul. Yeah. So the first place that's a good place to start is your body, and that involves, are you sleeping good quality sleep, enough hours? Na good quality means that you're able to go into the full cycle of sleep. Yeah. So you're not just sleeping shallowly, but you're able to engage the deep REM sleep, where now your mind is actually able to regenerate, to process information, to create new cells, to do all those things that when we talk about sleep being restorative, that is where that happens. So are you getting good quality sleep, enough hours of sleep? Are you eating properly? Are you having good nutrition? Are you getting your vitamins, getting your nutrients in? And so when we talk about nutrition, I think sometimes the misconception is kukula, greens every day.
Yeah.
Greens are good, fries are good, just what is the balance? Yeah. And then making sure that there's some exercise happening. And for this one, it's even as little as 15 minutes a day. It doesn't need to involve a gym. It doesn't need to involve, chumas or whatever. Just making sure that you're moving your body for at least 15 to 20 minutes every day. And then the more you do it, the more you can add on that time, because you will notice that your body will start to respond to that. Yeah, so those are the major things that you can do for your physical body.
And I want to just make you hold there, because I know after physical, we'll definitely go to our mental, our emotions, and everything. And I want us to, as we think about what you've been doing, about our own self-care, what have you been doing physically? Sindio, because already tumeshaambiwa about the physical type. So which one do you prefer? Remember, you can always interact with us through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp, 0719 144 144. So let's take this short break, and we'll be back with more information when it comes to how we can take care of ourselves in different ways. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Penina Wachera, and today we're speaking about self-care. And it is very interesting to understand how different people have different ways of doing self-care. But remember, it's not always about your physical care, but it's also about your emotions and also your mental well-being, right? But before the break, I had cut short my guest over here, akituambia kuhusu the physical. So I want us to continue the discussion, getting to understand how can we take care of ourselves when it comes to physically, emotionally, and also mentally.
Yeah. So as we carry on now with the physical, we've talked about the 3 must-haves, and then there are other things that are, of course, general good practices, like ensuring your spacing is clean and organized. That still touches on, physical, sometimes emotional as well. And then now there's our dear sisters, who do the whole routine, and, you have a date to go make your nails, go get massaged. All that can come under physical. And they're good practices. So now that's where we do that thing where you pick what works for you, depending on what you enjoy. There are people who enjoy that touch. There are people who don't. Yeah. So you find what works for you to be able to cater for your physical self. Then we have, of course, the emotional or the mental health, where self-care here is referring to the ability to be able to go with the flow of life, yeah? So to feel the joys, to feel the sadnesses, to feel the anger, to feel the pain, to feel whatever it is, and to allow it expression so that it's okay, so that we do not become susceptible. We don't become susceptible to developing other mental health challenges due to prolonged stress or chronic stress. So again, here there's a variety, and I feel like throwing you under the bus on this one, that you you could perhaps tell us what you use to sort of give yourself emotional release.
What I can really say is journaling. I find it really relaxing when I do journaling. Yeah, that's specifically.
Yeah, so that's a really good one. So there are people who journal, there are people who journaling may feel too intense, so you write a poem, or you are an artist in whatever way or form. There are people who, these coloring books that you can just, color and have that be therapeutic in itself. There's talking to your friends, talking to family, venting about what's going on. So all of those come under emotional self-care, what you do to be able to release or express that which is inside, both good and bad. Yeah. And then we have, the social space. When you're looking at your social health, what's your ability to connect with other people? People who are older, people who are your age, people who are younger. And this, I feel like sometimes is also interconnected with that sense of purpose. Like if I know that I can be a friend to Pesh today, there's that good feeling that comes with that you've been able to help a friend in one way or form. So how are you, relating with your family members, with your friends, with your workmates, with strangers kwa matatu? Are you so rigid that mtu aki-comment about what the donda has done or what's happening outside that, you can't? Because then again, that also might be able to tell us about certain mental health, disorders when we're not able to really connect with the world around us. Yeah. Then we have the spiritual health, which is you connecting with God, yeah, and also connecting with yourself, because you need to know and understand yourself. When we began, we said these things vary, so you need to understand and know yourself so that you know what works for you. And again, that's also a method of trial and error. So how connected, how able are you to just sit with yourself, to know leo niko sawa, leo siko sawa, ni nini nimefanya nisikuwe sawa, and also to connect to God, because we need to know, we need to connect to, I don't like saying a higher power, but we need to be able to understand that there's a larger world around us, and there are some things that we have control over, some things that we don't. So how do we make sense of that? Yeah. And then again, I think when we talk to a lot of people, you get to realize some people feel a lot better when they're able to pray. And it's like, venting, it's like touring what's in your heart. So yeah, that ability to connect with God and with self. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think we've gotten to understand the different ways that we can be able to do self-care. Say watu wenye mlikuwa mnadhani self-care is all about just taking care of your skin. It's just skincare alone. That's self-care. It doesn't apply to that, And most men, by the way, I don't think they understand what self-care is, because most of them, you may ask them, can you do self-care? They will also think about skincare alone. In which also taking care of the skin as a man is not bad. It's not bad, actually. It makes women look much better, Depending on what uko nje. It's important to actually take good care of yourself, both mentally and physically, it makes you become a better person, right? Absolutely. So in most of the discussions we've had when it comes to mental health, we've seen that most of them, when you're asking, how can you solve this? How can you do this? We always have self-care. So how does self-care really help to ease stress, depression, anxiety, and so many other problems when it comes to mental health?
Yeah, I think I'll answer that using the old pressure cookers, uses asahi. That one that had a thing that you wake up and then you to relieve the pressure. So that's kind of what self-care is doing, because life is constantly happening. So things are always boiling. But if you do not take time to ease that pressure kidogo, things could get bad to now the point where we're talking about now that stress has developed into anxiety disorders, into depressive disorders, into psychotic disorders, into substance use disorders because of not taking care of things. So zina end up to zikipile. Yeah, so what self-care does is it takes away that pressure when things are not really good, because you're constantly checking in, you're asking yourself, what is it that I need from myself? Yeah, so if I do that for my physical health, then because there are illnesses that we get because of stress. Yeah. So if I'm taking care of my body, as I'm taking care of my emotions, as I'm taking care of my social life, it reduces the likelihood of developing these disorders. It doesn't say that someone who practices self-care will not develop depression. It still can happen. But then again, it goes back to that thing we talked about of resilience, the bounce back. And also, it becomes such an important thing in preventing relapse, that should you have actually suffered depression or anxiety or whatever else, and you keep up a consistent, self-care practice as you still, taking your medication, which is still self-care, as you're still going for therapy, which is also part of self-care, then it helps you learn how to stay balanced, yeah, and thus reduces the likelihood of you relapsing or increases the time period between this relapse and, the next one. Yeah.
Wow. When you said about the pressure cooker, my head went, if you don't really remove the lid, usually the lid gets out. So that is how most of us, if we don't take care of yourselves, utajipata sa umebust. Now you become having a different mental health illness, which is something yenye most of us tumekuwa tukifanya. Like you find somebody akona stress, haongei, hajipei even the time to just think about it, because they think when they think about it, it will make it even worse, and it makes you actually worse when it comes to your mental illness. So it's better for us to always ensure that we check up on ourselves, because if you don't take care of yourself, you definitely will not take care of your neighbor, you'll definitely not take care of your family. It all starts with you, right? And I think this conversation is really good for us to be able to just learn on how we can be able to make ourselves better people, right? And here at Younib Breakfast Show, we ensure that we give you things that will make you a better person, lessons that will make you become a better person. And that is how we are just trying to reach out to the community through the Miss Your Ashen and the Younib organization to help you guys be able to know yourself, mostly when it comes to your mental health. And with that, I want us to take this short break, and we'll be back with more. Welcome back. This is still the Younib show, and today we're still talking about self-care. And it's very important for you to take care of yourself, because when you take care of yourself, you are able to take care of those around you, and also your everything in running into smoothly. So remember, this show is probably brought to you by Younib organization and Miss Ashen from Germany, and these people are trying to ensure that mental health is aware. Everybody is aware about mental health issues. And remember, if you have any question about your mental health issues, you can always interact with us through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719 144 144. If you have any problems, or if you've had our shows, anyway, I can have these. Is it symptoms inakaa ni kama zinanikaa pia? You can always call the number 0700 352 250. Remember, it's not good to self-diagnose. So when you call them, they can be able to diagnose you and also help you when it comes to mental illness. So coming back to our conversation of the day, which is about self-care. When we are working, most times it's normal for us to get into burnout. Tumekuwa pia have conversations about mental health, and burnout was also mentioned. Yeah. And how can now self-care come and play a role when it comes to when it comes to all those burnout and everything in between? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So burnout is an expected hazard of any work that we do, and it comes from, again, your period, prolonged work-related stress that's not being dealt with. So one of the things that we need to realize and unlearn is that a lot of times when we think of rest, ama ukifeel siku imekuwa mrefu nitafika tu home niende nilale, ama niende ni watch TV nilale. So a lot of the times when we're thinking like stress kazini kipanda, and I think I'd be interested to do this as a study actually, but a lot of the times stress ikipanda, you notice that your screen time also increases, either on series, TV, Instagram, just, looking for comfort through the screen. Yeah. Mostly for ladies, it's a lot of series. For men, it's a lot of drinking. You notice that increases, or, whatever negative way of coping, it tends to increase. So what we need to do is to learn that there is something called active rest, that we need to incorporate into our daily life routines, so that you don't feel like your entire life is just about work, and work is so much and work is too much and now I can't cope, and then shut down in whatever way.
So what is active rest?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you for asking. Mm-hmm. So active rest means that looking at rest, not just as sleeping, or not just as maintaining a horizontal position, because sometimes hujalala, you're just over there at night, but umelala, umelalia kitanda. Mm-hmm. So it's actually understanding that you can rest through the hobbies the things that you enjoy that are not work related. So unaweza kuwa umetoka kazi and you come, and for you enjoy your garden shamba, your two vitungus and your two nyanyas and your two spinach. So actually coming and getting your hands dirty with that and watering them and caring for them, that's active rest, where your mind is having a chance to focus on something that actually brings you joy. And is removed from that thing that gives you a lot of stress. So it's really tied into what is it that you enjoy, and that's why it's very connected with self-awareness, being able to know what is it that you like, what is it that you don't like, that you can lean into as a form of active rest. There are people who also like what they would describe as active rest may sound like work to some, like people who enjoy reading and research. So it's like, unarudi aje home to, but for them, that's actually relaxing in what they're doing, in that process of gathering knowledge that may be different from what they're doing. For someone else, it could be the gym, or, exercising in whatever form. So this is understanding that what you're doing actually counts as rest. Rest is not just lying down, putting your legs up, unasema sifanyi anything hadi kesho, nalala too. Which sleeping, we've talked about good quality sleep, but we need to make sure that we're not overdoing. Because what happens when you spend that entire weekend just lying down, by Monday, you don't want to Monday, because you're tired, you've not rested, you've just been in a very stagnant position. Your mind is not processing things because you're not engaging it in things that would actually help it process. So sometimes even the things tunaita kazi, going back home to cook, there are people who enjoy that process of kukata and preparing things. And for them, that's actually self-care. Yeah, so it just goes back into what are your hobbies that you can keep bringing kidogo kidogo to into your everyday. And then the periods of time when you have more time, like say over the weekend, then you can plan more of those that kind of give you a break from this thing that feels, big, overwhelming, boring, whatever might be leading to that feeling of burnout. Yeah.
Okay, now we've understood that our hobbies can be our ways of relaxation.
Yes.
That is something that is really, really... it may be, because, I was wondering now if, for example, I'm always at work. Like, work makes me feel good.
Yes.
Now I am from work is stressing me out. I'm going still to work at home, but it's something that is really helping me out. Can it really, like you said about research, it's still work, but it still helps you be able to relax. So it's important for us to understand that our hobbies really can also play a good role in self-care.
They are part of self-care.
They are part of self-care. Yes, they are part of self-care. So ensure that always ikosa kitu yenye unaweza kukifanya. Like if you love even going to just disturb other people, it can be, if that's your hobby, you can just use it, right? Yeah. As long as you are really releasing the tension of your stress, right? So when we talk about all these things, why is it important for us when it comes to self-care to ensure that we are mindful of what we're doing?
So mindfulness is a very good word to have in this mental health space, yeah? And I know sometimes tukisikia tunafikiria, yoga, or whatever we have learnt about it. But I'd like for us to break it down to, just the simple essence of what it is, which is being able to be present in the here and now, in this moment that is now. And why that's important is because for a lot of even mental health disorders, for example, depression and anxiety, some of that comes from not being able to be present. You're stuck in the past, in that which happened, or for anxiety, you're stuck in the future, what will happen. Yeah, and that now creates distress for you to an extent of developing, mental health challenges. But how about we learn to be in the here and now, in this moment? And so that means if I am sad now, then I am able to experience that sadness, to process it, to release it using the things that we talked about, whether that's journaling, whether that's going for a walk and, just thinking about it, whether that's talking to a friend, whatever I need to do. And then allow that moment to pass so that kesho I'm not thinking, pesh alinifanya ni feel so sad, and then I get stuck there and I feel the sadness afresh. But if it comes up in the moment tomorrow, then being able to attend to myself in that way. Yeah, so mindfulness really is the ability to bring yourself back. And sometimes that's also a self-care tool in moments of active stress, where you can remind yourself, by the way, I am here. Yes, there's all these demands, there's all these deadlines, there's all this kelele from, whatever work needs to be done. But right now I am here and I am breathing. So you just take a minute to remind yourself that you're breathing and to just pause and, feel that breath. Picture that air going in, coming out. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice how it feels, as notice kama tumbo yako inatoka ukibreathe ama inarudi ndani. Those two simple things of just breathing, that actually counts as mindfulness. And then learning to extend that to the simple tasks that we have as everyday routine. I would like to assume everyone brushes their teeth every day, I would like to assume everyone takes a shower every day. So in those two things that you do every day, I'd like to assume everyone eats every day. Yeah, so in those ones, can you also be present with that which you're doing? If you're brushing your teeth, can you taste the toothpaste, feel how those bristles feel against your gum, against your teeth? If you're taking a shower, what's the temperature of the water? Whatever you use to scrub or clean yourself, what's the texture of it? How does it feel? are there different temperatures? Ukisonga side kwa shower, inasikia, like, noticing those simple things. When you're eating, is the food hot? Is it cold? Is it crunchy? Is it soft? Iko na chumvi, iko na spices. Just noticing. Again, not to judge it, not to sema, hii food ni mbaya, but just to notice, ina taste aje, ina feel aje nikikula. Yeah.
Okay, so tumejua mindfulness is just like staying in the moment, like being there during that particular moment, right? So when it comes to now the different individuals, as I started, we are all different in everything. How can you be able to know, and this is the time that I'm supposed to stop and just do prioritize my mental health and my self-care?
Yeah. So perhaps this is heavily related to, like, now what would be the symptoms of this burnout that we're talking about. So when you notice that, one, you're not able to function the way you used to. Like you used to be, that morning bird, say morning comes and you're just so demotivated to do the things that you used to enjoy, that should send you some red lights. Two, when you notice that there's changes in your nutrition or in your sleep, in this one that we call the bedrock of, good health. Yeah, so you're either sleeping too much or sleeping too little. Your appetite has now gone way up, for those ones who want to eat all the time when they're stressed, or for those ones who can't eat at all when they're stressed. So when you begin to notice those changes, and then again, changes with your mood. Are you getting angry more often or more irritated? Yeah. And then, there are those ones who lipuka, they will show it out. And then there are those ones who feel it inside. So other people may not know, but you just saying good morning, I'm just like, what is good? Like, you notice you're so irritable. And it's not your kawaida self. And then noticing that pia kuna yo aspect ya ku-isolate. You're not engaging in the social spaces that you used to enjoy before. For some, I think a lot these days, your screen time, as I said, could really increase, because now you're just looking for, you don't want to be in your thoughts, you don't want to be with people, so you look for whatever other distraction is there. Or we could put it this way, an increase in negative habits. Yeah, so if you used to be the glass of wine with my food, now it's 3 glasses of wine, So an increase in those two comfort habits that sometimes are not very healthy. Yeah. And also feedback from other people. Yeah. So sometimes you're not present enough to know what's happening, but utasikia, ay pesh, sikizi nikikusalimia tu niangalie. So it begins to let you know, okay, there's something happening and other people can see it. Yeah.
Wow, no, I'm sure Sai tunajua most about self-care and what self-care is all about, how we can be able to be in the present. Me, I'm telling you, it's very important for somebody to just be there, to be there at that specific time. It saves you a lot of things, actually. So thank you so much, B, for coming and informing us more about self-care. I'm sure now we are more educated on matters self-care, and we will start. I hope see what tutajiambia leo sasa after tumeambiwa hizi vitu zote, we will start now doing self-care, incorporating self-care. Kama ni kwenda job, unaona hey manze hapa naweza tembea, you just incorporate that for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you go there, if it's for you, una feel umetoka job and you're like, hey, badala ya kwenda kuakisha your series watch, at least to do something else, either uende uzunguke mahali ukiangalia, like just being there, maybe breathing in and out, or maybe even on weekends you can go out with your friends and just go to a place where there's nature and just be there during that moment. So
if you have children, that's also a very good self-care tool, because children like to play. So just ingia now. You get exercise, you get therapy for free, just in that space.
Exactly. Now it's important for us to just take good care of ourselves, and I'm sure this show has helped you there. For the men out there, it's important to actually take care of yourself. I know so many people are now getting about self-care for the ladies, but it's also important for the men to also understand that this is also part of them. Usikufe na shida zenyu. Say we are in a generation or at a time where men can be able to speak out and even cry when people are seeing. Although kuna hao toxic people who still think about it and am I supposed to cry? But it's something that if you open up to it, it will help you, at least hautakufa na shida zako, it will help your mental well-being. And that is what we as the Younib Breakfast Show are trying to advocate for everybody. Let's have a peace of mind. Let's be mindful of whatever we are doing, and it will help us become better people. So, thank you so much, guys, for being here from the time we started the show. I know Mesoma and Asisi, you've been interacting with us. We are really, really grateful for all the interactions. For everyone who has made this show a success, thank you so much. This show is here because of you guys, and I just can't say thank you enough to all of you. Sindio, asanteni sana, and until next time, do have a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.